Far Cry 5 has the worst multiplayer I've ever seen in a game. Hey, what's up guys, Irish Turtle here, and in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about the Far Cry 5 multiplayer. Now, I'm not on about the co-op aspect of this game, because in general, Far Cry 5, the single player and the co-op in that is fantastic. I'm on about the Far Cry 5 arcade multiplayer. The thing that, quite frankly, it feels Ubisoft just tacked on as something they felt they had to do, and spent no time actually thinking about. So, for those of you guys who maybe haven't played the Far Cry 5 arcade, the way that Ubisoft sort of hooks you into playing it is they go, right, if you play the Far Cry 5 arcade, you can earn perk points for your character in the single player, and you can also earn cash. Now, one of the reasons that's quite interesting is because cash in Far Cry 5 is such a hard to come by commodity. If you play the game, you'll find out quite frequently that you're running out of money, you're not getting the items you want, and you need more cash to buy those items. And one of the ways you can do that is by playing multiplayer to get more cash. And that's an interesting system, and I think if the multiplayer itself was anywhere near good, that would be a great system to add in. But the Far Cry 5 multiplayer is a far cry, ironically, from being anywhere near good. It's shocking, and I mean literally, like, it feels to me like someone within the Far Cry team went, hey look, we've made this amazing single player game, and you know what we're going to do now? We're going to go back to like Far Cry 2, Far Cry 3, and we're going to go, hey, those games had great multiplayer where you could rank up, you could gain better weapons, had these awesome game modes. Yeah, we're going to forget all of that and make the biggest shit show I've ever seen. Now, the way the multiplayer works is you jump into it and the maps get selected randomly. Now, the Far Cry editor has an interesting aspect to it where you can make multiplayer maps for like things like, you know, team deathmatch, deathmatch. You can make like these assault maps, journey maps. You can do some really interesting things with the Far Cry editor, and you can make some really interesting maps. The issue is that the first-person multiplayer shooter aspect of the game just takes these maps and throws them in randomly. And I'm going to be honest, every single map that I have played so far is shocking. There's not been a single map that's balanced, well-designed, or built to stand any kind of scrutiny. One of the maps that somebody's made is called Iraq, right? And this map is a desert map. You've got two starting sides, and basically you run in and you take this little town, and you take over this town, and you try and, like, I think the map designer's idea was that you would try and hold on to this town and, like, attack and defend it, and try and take control of that. And basically he's made it so the game mode's 10 minutes long to the maximum of 75 kills. The issue is that this map is so poorly designed that vehicles on the map don't respawn. They just don't respawn. Like, the cars, once they're gone, they're gone. The helicopters, once they're gone, they're gone. The tactical vehicles that the Iraqi insurgents have, once they're gone, they're gone. And then literally all it is a case of just one team runs into the town and dies instantly, because not only does this game mode have this issue with spawn vehicles, it has the issue that the person who made it was able to set his own set of rules. One of the rules he set, one shot, one kill. Now, that might sound like a really interesting idea, hyperrealism maybe, for a multiplayer map. It's not though, because the way the map's been designed, it doesn't work, because if you're the attacking team, and like on the American side, if you get into the town, the Iraqi side, their spawn point has no cover. So you can just sit there and shoot them all day and kill them. Similarly, if you're on the American side and the Iraqis have the town, you have to come down this huge hill. And again, they can just shoot you really easily and get this one shot, one kill. And it just doesn't work. It's this quintessential idea that Ubisoft have tried to make a multiplayer, and it just feels like it's been slapped on, and they've gone, hey, we'll call it Far Cry Arcade, therefore we don't have to put as much effort in, you guys make the maps, you guys vote on the maps, so the good maps get like played more and the bad maps get played less. But in honesty, it just feels shocking. And then the other issues are things like the fact that it's it's hosted servers, right? It's not done by Ubisoft, it's peer-to-peer hosted servers. So if the host has got a poor connection or is in a different country to you, you're going to be missing shots. In one game, I couldn't even see my shots. On my screen, I just point and click, and I'd assume I was shooting them. Their health would slowly drop, and I just assumed that was me doing it. Similarly, there was a guy I was in front of at one point. I tried to hit him with a baseball bat. Didn't work. Apparently he was behind me all of a sudden and killed me, and it didn't work. I mean, I can see where Ubisoft have gone, and the scope for this is really interesting. One of the maps they have is, like somebody's made, is Shipment from Call of Duty 4. Now that map in COD 4 is amazing, so much of a clusterfuck that it's unreal. You know, that map is designed to be this huge mess. But again, in the Far Cry editor and in the Far Cry arcade, it's just completely fucked up. Like, you can pick a character, right, and you can spawn in with, like, a Spaz 12. I spawn in, I have one clip of Spaz 12 ammo. Once those shots have been fired, I run out of ammo completely for that gun, and then, like, that's it. I'm on easy pickings. And again, other issues. I can just spawn, and someone can spawn behind me and do a takedown, and that's it, I'm dead. And he wouldn't have been there the same second, like, he wouldn't have been there a second before, or we both spawned at the same time, and again, he's just behind me, he's got a better connection, so he just instantly takes me out. And it's just poorly designed, and I don't understand what Ubisoft's thinking was, because they have this amazing single-player game, they have these really cool DLCs they're looking to do, they have this interesting idea where you can make co-op maps and do these different challenges, but they have this arcade shooter that just isn't good. It doesn't feel like they've thought how it works, because another thing that really annoys me is the perks transfer over from single player to multiplayer. Again, that shouldn't be the case. It should be an individual leveling system for multiplayer and an individual leveling system for single player. If by playing the arcade you got these perk points that you could bring back to single player, but you know, they were just added rewards, that would be fine. But again, it's not that. And it just feels like it just doesn't work. I mean, you can see in the background gameplay, right? A few of these games I'm not doing too well on, I'm probably dying a lot, and you can see how badly designed it is. I mean, one of these maps is like a deathmatch where you spawn on a plane that's made of wood, and I don't get what the guy who made it was thinking, but like, sometimes you could just spawn and instantly fall out of the map, because the wood's gone, and for some reason your spawn point is the same place every single time, and it doesn't work. It's not how a multiplayer is meant to be, and it just feels like people have made these shitty maps and gone, hey, I'm going to upload that to multiplayer, and there's no vetting process, there's no like, hey, does this actually work process, it's just into the map pool and everyone suddenly has to play it, and it's shocking. And again, the issue is other maps, once you start to see them, you can see that somebody has taken a lot of time to go, hey, look, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a multiplayer map that's like asymmetrical, really interesting, really well balanced. But again, the multiplayer just doesn't work that way. You can get spawn trapped so easily because for some reason Ubisoft have gone, okay, Far Cry is this, like, you know, this tactical shooter all of a sudden, and headshots are going to be a one-shot kill. Now, that would be fine, but the issue is that in certain cases, you could just spawn, there's like a slight deathmatch timer before you can be killed, and then you're just instantly killed. Or, if the enemy team is smart enough just to hang back a couple of steps, you just walk out your spawn zone, and then you're vulnerable again to a headshot, and you're dead. And it's not well designed. I mean, I'm loving the single player for Far Cry. I've got an interesting video coming out where I took on a base completely with melee weapons. That was really fun. I really enjoyed that. But the multiplayer experience, it's just broken. And again, it's this product that was pushed. And somebody at Ubisoft went, yeah, that'll be fine. We'll just push that. And I don't know what they were thinking. Just how? How is this a thing? It just doesn't work. I think one of the ways Ubisoft need to fix this is they need to look at the map process. There needs to be some sort of vetting or green light process for arcade maps, because quite frankly, they're shocking. Some of the maps I've played are just ridiculously bad. Like, the spawn system's fucked, like, the item system's fucked. There's no sort of explanation on how ammo works. For some reason, I've spawned in, like, with a specific, like, character loadout, because again, you don't get to pick loadouts, that's done by the person who makes the map. And for some reason, the ammo doesn't, like, refill every round, every time you spawn, rather. For some reason, it becomes less and less until you've only got one magazine left, and that's what you spawn with every single time. And the other weapon that you have, for some reason, you pick up ammo for it, but you can't swap to that weapon. It just says ammo full, and then you have to die and spawn back with that weapon. I don't know why that's a thing, but that's a thing. And it just, it doesn't work. Yeah, like I said, guys, I'm just dumbfounded that someone at Ubisoft went and pushed this multiplayer aspect through and went, yes, this is fine. Again, I understand this is Far Cry Arcade. They've tried to make it seem more gamey, more like, hey, you know, this is like a bit of a joke, it's a bit of a thing, but you can't ship that as a multiplayer PvP and have it be so bad. Because that's what it is. And here's the thing, right? I want to hear your experiences. Out of you guys that have played Far Cry 5, how have you found this multiplayer arcade? Personally, it's shocking. Absolutely shocking. I haven't enjoyed a single game on it. And, like, that's not good. You should be able to play a game and enjoy it. And there shouldn't be this case of I have to play custom maps, not the maps that were developed by the developers for multiplayer. And it just feels as though Ubisoft haven't bothered. It's just this thing they've tacked on in an attempt to go, hey, look, you can earn in-game cash this way, therefore it's okay that we have this silver system. And like I say, I don't agree with it. I think they need to take a hell of a long look at the multiplayer aspect when it comes to this PvP element they've added in, and they need to go, right, we need to fix some shit here. Because, I'm not being funny, if you look at Far Cry 2, Far Cry 3, the multiplayers for that, they weren't fantastic, but they were a hell of a lot better than this one in Far Cry 5. And, you know, I don't get how they've gone so wrong with that. I mean, especially considering Ubisoft have, like, the Rainbow Six Siege team in Ubisoft Montreal designing a great multiplayer experience. Watch Dogs has a good multiplayer experience with PvP. All these different games they've made have good PvP experiences. And Far Cry, it just doesn't. And that's a first-person shooter. You think that wouldn't be difficult to do, but for some reason it is. And some of these maps are just shockingly built. And it should never be a case that, you know, that should be something they should push through and think it's okay. But you know what, guys, like that's my rant over. That's my thoughts on the Far Cry 5 PvP. Like I said, I don't think it's good. It needs a long, hard look at, I think, in my opinion, and updating as soon as possible. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you guys think to this PvP? Do you think that it's good to have this kind of madness and chaos, or do you think it's terrible like me and they need to fix it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe for more Far Cry content coming very soon, and I'll see you in the next one.